So I'm so fortunate to have Luana Ramberg and Kasima Bolt joining us today. And both of them are married to Baltimore police officers. One's a detective, one's a sergeant. Both of them, unfortunately, were injured in the line of duty. So both of them went through the exact same experience. And I believe today is the first day you two are meeting one another, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and as I was saying to someone that being the people forget about the spouse, whether it's a husband or a wife of a BPD, of a Baltimore police officer. So you two are the behind the scenes making everything work. So if you can just share a little bit about what you went through when your husbands were injured, and what it's like to be the spouse of a Baltimore City police officer.
So my name is Kasima Bolt, and I am married to Brandon Bolt, who is now a detective. He was injured in November of 2020 in a shooting that I had nothing to do with him, but ended up getting in the crossfires, and it took a toll on the family. I always say this in every single interview: if it wasn't for Signal 13, I don't know how we would have got through it, because my husband had previously been injured before. He had gotten in the shooting in a car accident on duty, and we didn't know anything about Signal 13, and so it was very difficult on our family and everyone around us. So that, in a nutshell, pretty much what happened with my husband.
Luana, you went through a similar experience, right?
Correct. So my husband is Kenneth Ramberg. He is a sergeant at the Northwest District in Baltimore City. He was the officer, the sergeant, that was dragged by someone that he pulled over at a traffic stop, and the assailant decided to take off. And unfortunately, Ken was caught onto the car and was dragged for 2 blocks. He ended up in shock trauma for a month, and then he went to rehab for another month. And so Signal 13 was definitely the angels that came to help us in that time, because it wasn't just emotional support, but it was financial support as well that was offered to us through Signal 13. That was enormous help. I mean, it took so much weight and stress off of us, because Ken is the breadwinner in our family. I think Kasima can attest that officers, their overtime alone helps us out a lot. And when you have children, especially children that are in private schools, that it helps with that extra income. And when you no longer have that because he's injured, and you're faced with a lot of difficult decisions at that point, and you don't realize that help is there until Signal 13 came along. Actually, the FOP president is the one who even mentioned them to us, because Ken didn't even know about Signal 13 at first until Mike Mancuso came in and talked to us about it. And we were like, really? And he encouraged us to reach out to you. And as soon as we did, Nancy, you were such an angel on the phone. I mean, your voice was so uplifting and so willing to help. And in that time of darkness, where I don't even know whether Ken is going to be able to walk again, because his feet was severed from being dragged. At one point, they didn't know if he was going to wake up, but thank God he did. He had to go to physical therapy. He's in a wheelchair. He still has 2 more surgeries to complete this year. And so he work, let alone even going back on, what do they call it, light duty, wasn't even, a possibility for us. So we were pretty much down one income, and Signal 13 just said, hey, we're here to help. Let us know what we can do. And I mean, you just pretty much wipe those tears away because it was very scary for us.